Exterior, old man's house, morning. Seen from a distance, two kids pry behind the trash cans of a neurotically maintained single unit home. Amongst apartment complexes and new businesses in a mixed use neighborhood, the house is one of the few remaining in a district that is both gentrifying and home to new immigrants. It isn't exactly clear what these kids are doing, but they're having fun.
Interior, old man's house. An outdated computer table with an outdated computer sits next to an impressive vinyl collection in an outdated living room. Cool air blows from a top-of-the-line window AC, rustling everything in its way. Across the room, a window is open, just a crack. The radio plays.
And one more day into what is now and continues to be the longest drought on record.
A healthy man in his mid-60s wearing a State Department t-shirt and State Department boxer shorts can be seen through the kitchen door. He pours old-fashioned black coffee into a State Department mug. He enters the living room and sits down at the desk.
Exterior, rooftop of adjacent building. A man in his early 20s leans against the ledge overlooking the old man's house. He vapes a large cloud from a large electronic cigarette. Through large headphones, listens to the sounds coming from the old man's open window. His parabolic microphone is decorated with stickers of the flag of El Salvador and the flag of the former Yugoslavia. He hears the radio.
All watering and washing restrictions in play, no exceptions, and today's peak a mere 115 downtown and a trivial 113 in the valley.
Interior, adjacent condo. Amidst clothes, shoes, old containers, and other clutter, a woman in her early 40s is awake but still in bed, eyes open. Staring at the ceiling, the rest of her still under the covers. A central AC freezes the room. Her tablet is within reach. Its screensaver, a picture of her and a man, also early 40s, in London during happier times. The tablet, too, plays the radio program.
At least it's only Fahrenheit, folks. Beware the rolling blackouts, everybody, but enjoy the wildfires.
The radio program segues to a song about sunshine, and the old man, still at the desk, reads news on his PC. An email arrives from a person he once knew, which is now heard as voiceover.
It's been a long time. I found your email address about 6 months ago, but I never used it.
And the old man, still also listening to the song about sunshine on his radio, continues to read on his PC.
I searched for you when my nephew went to study in Los Angeles. I thought it would be nice for him to meet you. Of course, I never wrote, and you never met.
And on the roof, the young man continues to vape and listen to the sounds of the old man's morning via the parabolic microphone aimed at the open window.
He says he misses LA and wants to return. He loved the weather, he says. He won't tell me or his mother. We think he fell in love with another foreign student who has yet to go home.
The young man cracks open a Red Bull, sips, vapes, and through his headphones hears the song about sunshine.
While the middle-aged woman sits in the center of her bed, she smokes a spliff and surfs sites about London on her tablet, which also continues to play the radio program and the song about sunshine.
My family and I, we live in London now. We moved about 6 months after the siege. I never married. I fell completely in love with my work.
And the old man, still also listening to the song about sunshine on his radio, continues to read on his PC.
Please reply. I look forward to everything you choose to share. After what happened to you before you left, and all the time since.
Suddenly, from outside the house, the kids playing and laughing can be heard. The old man turns, looks toward this sound, rises, and walks towards it.
I hope you remember me as fondly as I remember you. I often remember something you said. I don't remember the conversation exactly, but I vaguely remember being at a performance, concert, or event of some kind.
As the middle-aged woman finishes her spliff, her AC abruptly dies, as does her modem. With no internet, the song about sunshine fizzles out.
And you said something about when you were young, that you didn't have a voice.
She checks the lamp on her dresser. It doesn't work. She checks her mobile phone, which displays a number of missed calls from the man on the tablet screensaver. She has also received a text message from him.
Exterior, old man's house. As the two kids dance around in the sprinkler, the old man yells at them from his porch.
You had found it by the time you were telling me this, of course, but you said that you had yet to use it. I'm sure we continued to talk about something else.
As he yells incomprehensibly, the kids mock him and continue to dance around in the water. He goes to turn it off.
And the young man on the roof records the confrontation below. He moves the parabolic microphone around to capture the sounds of the scene, hearing just bits and pieces at a time, laughing, stomping, clapping, spraying, and spurts of yelling.
And as the old man tries to rip the sprinkler away, one kid turns the water back on. The old man goes back to turn off the water again, but the kids set up the sprinkler again and play.
It was an off-the-cuff remark, but I remember it from time to time and find it so peculiar. No matter what, I hope you still have it, and they're using it one way or another.
Interior, Free Trade Cafe, mid-morning. In a typical indie coffee shop, there's a substantial line of people waiting to order and a clump of people waiting who have already ordered.
The young man from the roof is one of the few seated. He is at a table in a corner by himself, enjoying a free glass of water with lemon. He stares at the screen of his expensive laptop, decorated with a large sticker of the Queen of England. Identified as Bedbug. He is in a Google Hangout with Kinda White. The conversation can be heard through Bedbug's large headphones.
Just call me later.
Just a minute. Turn your camera on.
I can't. I'm walking to the tube. It's pouring. Call me later.
I don't know when later. I don't know where I'll be.
What difference? You're out of data. Of course you're out of data, so just call me when you're back at your place.
Across the room, out of direct view of the young man / bedbug, the woman in her early 40s is in the clump of waiting customers, holding a violin case and trying patiently to wait for her fix. She has received another text from the man in the screensaver,
Where are you?
but she ignores it.
And the Google Hangout continues.
Which, of course, you can't also do because your internet was shut off.
I get the check next week. A few days. Parents die for a reason.
For you to live in a fantasy world.
The middle-aged woman responds to the text,
What happened to 11? Confused.
and the Google Hangout continues.
Exactly. I'm working on this old dude. Every morning he yells at these kids. His voice is insane.
That's cool. Hey, I really need the next train. Talk later, okay?
The young man ends the hangout and closes his laptop.
And the woman gets a response from the man in the screensaver.
ASAP.
She begins to squeeze honey into a giant plastic cup of oddly colored iced tea.
And out of view of both the young man and the middle-aged woman, the old man, now fully dressed and wearing a State Department cap, is now in line with the people waiting to order.
The woman continues to squeeze honey into her tea, then finishes with one last dab.
One after the other, the middle-aged woman and the young man exit the cafe. Exterior, Free Trade Cafe. The woman and the young man exit to opposite directions. Within the frame, a sign on the cafe window reads, Hot Improv at noon, cold brewed coffee. We've got a generator.
Back inside, the old man waits stoically amidst a yuppie, a hipster, an ancient, rich hippie, and a mother-baby combo all on their phones, even the baby on a toy phone. The baby, on the mother's back, tries to give the old man her phone. The old man pretends not to notice, hoping she stops.
Interior, recording studio, late morning. In a drab drywall office with sound-absorbing materials stuck to the walls and a folding table with a laptop connected to gear nearby, the man in the screensaver is in the midst of preparing a session.
The woman in her 40s enters the studio, frazzled, opening the door, trying to hold on to the free trade cup and violin case.
And the man in the screensaver continues to set up.
We don't need to talk about this.
Not talking, getting set.
And the middle-aged woman sits within the few panels set up to isolate her, as the middle-aged man sits at the folding table, ready to record.
From the last place we started last time.
ASAP.
Tell me when you're set.
Getting set.
For the love of God, how many fucking times?
We don't need to talk about this. Getting set.
This is the last fucking time.
Set.
Interior, Free Trade Cafe, noon. Now seated with a number for his order, the old man waits, and musicians out of frame warm up. A few other customers are also seated and waiting. There is little conversation, as everybody except the old man is on a phone, tablet, or laptop. Hipster number 2 delivers the old man's order, black coffee and an elaborate pour-over contraption.
Interior, dim hallway. The young man arrives at his apartment. He picks up a large box left for him. He grabs a late rent notice from the door. Interior, young man's apartment. The young man adds late notice to piles of other late and shut-off notices. On top of one of the stacks is an F1 student visa, expiration notice. The walls of his tiny studio have little art, except for a Great Gatsby poster and a picture of Fidel Castro. He puts down his expensive backpack in the box and switches on the lights. They don't work. He tries the fan. It also does not work. He tries to wash his face in the sink, but the water has been shut off too. He takes off his pants and shirt, wearing Captain America underoos and a body mic connected to a pocket audio recorder. He transfers the memory card to his laptop. He opens the box with a kitchen knife and reveals an expensive shotgun mic.
Still at the cafe, still seated with his coffee, the old man stares at a performance in progress. Free jazz played by 3 hairy dudes on intricate homemade instruments. Amongst the other customers, all of whom are still on their phones, tablets, or laptops, the old man just stares, trying to get it.
Still at the studio, the middle-aged woman is playing a jingle version of the song about sunshine on her violin.
The middle-aged man listens intensely.
Then puts it to a stop.
Stop, please! Stop!
She stops.
What should change?
You need to stop.
Or you can tell me what to change.
I thought you were just lazy or too arrogant or stoned, but it's none of these things. You're probably baked out of your mind, but
Specifically, what can change?
The man begins to close down the session.
You're the most talented person I know, but we're done.
For today?
I'll text you.
Exterior, fire escape. Having connected his new shotgun mic to other expensive gear in his apartment, by a cable through the window and still wearing the underoos, the young man points the microphone to the street below. He records the sounds: pedestrians, cars, a crash, scream, all of which is heard through his headphones. All the equipment he's using runs via the remaining USB power of his computers. It's a unique, complicated arrangement of wiring.
Exterior, rail platform, afternoon. Waiting for the light rail home amidst a few other passengers, the middle-aged woman holds her violin case. A train arrives. Lost in thought, she doesn't move. The train and the other passengers depart.
Exterior, park. The young man, now fully dressed again, uses his new mic to record a team of ducks heard through his headphones.
Still on the platform, amidst a few passengers exiting and straggling, the woman has found a corner that provides some reverberation. She unpacks her violin, sets open the violin case in front of her, and sets to play.
And the cafe performance concludes. Some customers clap sporadically while not taking much time away from the devices. The ancient, rich hippie claps enthusiastically and excessively, but then immediately looks back down at his phone.
Some customers stay and some go. The old man just stares. And for the first time, as a voiceover. His full voice is heard.
I'm surprised but not at all unhappy you found me. The internet does have its uses.
The old man gets up and crosses to the exit.
I do remember you often, and as fondly as anyone can be remembered, please never question that.
On the platform, the middle-aged woman plays a rusty but decent violin sonata number 1 in G minor by Bach. Her audience builds a bit.
I knew you were in the UK, but I didn't get in touch. I'm glad you finally did.
Exterior, Free Trade Cafe. The old man exits the cafe and crosses directly across the dry, hot, sunny street.
I'm also glad that your work continued and in London. I imagine you love it there. Everything except the weather, of course.
And on the platform, the woman continues to play. For a few more passengers that have joined the crowd.
When I got home, I left state and I started consulting which...
On another side of the platform, as passengers come and go, the young man attempts to record a rat on the tracks, what is heard through his headphones with other platform sounds.
I was able to do remotely via email. No more events, no more travel, no more free concerts, but I didn't have to talk.
The woman makes a mistake, heard through the young man's headphones.
The young man turns the mic towards her.
Which made the work doable.
As passengers come and go, the old man is revealed amongst the middle-aged woman's audience. The woman, having resumed from her mistake, plays. The young man, somewhat hidden behind a post, records her.
Now I'm retired.
Another train arrives and then departs, to reveal that the old man is gone. The woman, having noticed the young man recording her, continues to play.
With lots of free time on my hands.
The woman has found her groove, in love with being recorded. Exterior, old man's house, late afternoon. The old man walks up the stairs to his porch.
And I find myself doing odd things that I would have never done before. I forget they'll make me angry later, and I do them anyway. And I repeat them. I go to places I would have never gone before. Places I don't particularly like or dislike. But I go anyway just to spend time. For the sake of it.
He screws the sprinkler back onto the hose. He then places the sprinkler on the porch. He once again enters the house, closing the door behind him. Back on the platform, the woman still plays, and the young man still records her. More and more she loves it, but still does not let on to knowing.
And I repeat them.
Another train arrives, and the woman loses the young man amidst the cross-section of passengers.
I go to places I would have never gone before.
When the train passes, the woman notices the young man is gone. She stops playing, surprised by the desire for him to continue.
Interior, Free Trade Cafe. The young man is at a same table, again with a free water with lemon. His equipment is taking up 2 outlets by his table, and outlets of each table on his sides.
Places I don't particularly like or dislike.
Laptop open and headphones on. He is trying to connect to Kinda White via Google Hangout, but it just rings.
Interior, bedroom of adjacent condo, early evening. The middle-aged woman in the center of her bed smokes a bowl and surfs her tablet.
But I go anyway just to spend time.
She looks at pictures of London, now specifically of Royal Festival Hall.
Interior, old man's house, evening. Seated at the desk, listening to a melodic jazz record, the old man finishes up his email to the person he once knew.
For the sake of it.
He presses send.
Exterior, old man's house. The window from which the young man was previously recording suddenly opens a crack.
Interior, adjacent condo, morning. The middle-aged woman is awake, but again, still under the covers. Her tablet within reach, playing the radio program.
Another day of drought, another day of needing a new planet. High only 109, but marking the longest 105 plus wave since waves have been recorded.
Interior, old man's house. Wearing the same State Department boxers and t-shirt, the old man emerges from the kitchen with his State Department mug of black coffee as the same program plays through his radio.
Blackouts, fires, lions, and bears. Save the whales, folks, because there's no hope for us.
The middle-aged woman is now sitting up in bed, smoking a bong. The radio program, through her tablet, segues to a song about killing a whale from the same band as the song about sunshine. She reads a few texts off her phone, from the man in the screensaver, the same man in the recording studio.
This has been my way to keep you around. This is not for you. Go back to Philharmonic. Any Philharmonic.
The woman takes a big hit.
The young man waits on the roof with his gear set, vaping and sipping on another Red Bull. Using his new mic and via his headphones through the open window of the old man's house, only a little song about killing the whale can be heard, but the sound of the kids is now more present and more complete.
But the song about killing the whale still plays clearly through the radio. Sitting at his PC with his coffee, the old man checks his email. He has no response from the person he once knew. He presses refresh. No response. Again, he presses refresh. Suddenly, electricity dies, knocking out his computer and the radio. The sounds of the kids playing can now be heard.
The young man continues to listen from the roof and watches the waveforms on the screen. Via his headphones, only ambient sounds and sounds of kids laughing and playing can be heard at first, but then also fragments of the old man yelling at them.
Exterior. Rail platform. Late morning. The middle-aged woman is again set to play, in the same place as the day before. She has an okay crowd of passengers. She looks around for the young man, but he is nowhere to be seen. She resigns to play anyway. She begins. Tartini's Violin Sonata in G minor.
Interior, Free Trade Cafe. The old man, again dressed and wearing his State Department cap, sits with an even more elaborate pour-over contraption for black coffee, amidst the sounds of another set of musicians getting ready and a similar crew of other customers, all consumed by devices. Again, he just stares.
While the woman on the platform continues to play, suddenly, near the same post that was partially hiding him yesterday, she can see the young man preparing to record her. Without letting on, and without stopping, she now plays even more confidently and freely.
And the young man begins to record.
And the woman plays for the young man, without looking at him and without letting on.
The young man still records her.
And the old man watches a half-electric, half-acoustic duo playing a quieter, minimal avant-garde piece while the other customers remain more interested in their devices.
And she plays for him, for the recording, still trying to do so without him knowing. A train arrives, the doors open. Some passengers board, some disembark, the train leaves, and once again the size of her audience shifts. The young man is gone. She stops playing. She just stands, still.
The cafe performance grows in intensity. Another mother tries to get her baby to stop crying by bouncing the baby on her knee in some strange way to the music as best as she can. She gives up quickly and then looks back at her phone and lets the baby cry.
The old man studies the performance.
Few customers clap politely. Hipster number 3 claps enthusiastically and excessively, but then looks back down at his device.
As seen through the window, the middle-aged woman passes by the cafe, peeking in.
The performance concludes, but the old man just continues to stare.
The young man returns to his door, this time to find an eviction notice. The locks have been changed, and he can't get in. From the corner of the frame, another package is revealed.
As seen through the window, the middle-aged woman passes by the cafe, peeking in.
Interior, old man's house, evening. Sitting at his desk, ready for bed, the old man listens to another jazz record. The anachronistic sound of needle on vinyl, prominent. He presses refresh on his PC. No response. The old man takes a small box out of a bag. He opens the box. he reveals a new smartphone. Exterior, the old man's house. Again, the window opens a crack.
Exterior, roof, early morning. The young man is working madly. His entire setup powered by portable solar panels. One with a sticker of President Obama, one with a sticker of Pope Francis, another with a sticker of Ronald Reagan. The box was left for him is now open, packing supplies all around.
The young man's cell phone rings. The ringtone, the song about sunshine. Kinda White is calling from a UK number. The young man answers the phone.
You're calling direct?
You don't have internet? You sleeping?
Working.
Oh, dude.
I think old. I've only seen him from above, and he's always wearing a hat.
I was gonna call earlier, but the cell towers were out. You should stop calling for a while.
I'll get data in a few days.
You're 5,000 miles away.
I could come there.
You can't even get a job here.
I can get a job here. I'll still get checks if I come there.
You need to go home.
For what?
You need to finish school.
Why?
I need to finish school. We went in knowing it was short term. We'll talk soon.
The call ends.
Interior, adjacent condo, morning. The middle-aged woman is wide awake, sitting on the edge of her bed, lacing up her boots. This morning, she is not smoking weed. The radio program again plays through her tablet.
Record drought, record high, a record high, a record day straight. If you're nowhere near the 118, don't be.
Interior, old man's house. The old man again emerges from out of the kitchen wearing State Department boxers and t-shirt, State Department mug of coffee in hand, and makes his way to the computer table. The radio plays.
All exits between 19B and 34 close. Just a little fire, folks. Nothing to worry about.
At her mirror, the middle-aged woman beautifies herself for the day, and the radio program via the tablet plays.
Somewhere else in this great big world, it's coming down in buckets.
Again, suddenly, the electricity goes out, as does again her overworked AC and the radio program. She pauses, but then quickly resumes getting ready.
The old man is also without power. Sitting in the dark at his dark computer, he picks up his new smartphone and uses it for the first time to check his mail. He has finally received a response from the person he once knew. Again, heard as a voiceover.
I was going to reply sooner, but we had torrential downpours, and the internet was in and out. I must come right out and ask, because I'd like to get to know you again if I can.
Exterior, rail platform. Although the young man is not there to record, the middle-aged woman sets to play to a small crowd of passengers. She takes one last quick look around, but plays anyway, an original modern piece, radically different from the previous pieces.
But I'm confused, again, about your voice. Perhaps I'm missing something. Perhaps I'm not extrapolating as I should.
Sounds of the kids playing in the yard can be heard, but the old man just continues to read in the dark.
I still don't know if you're trying to be profound or if you're trying to tell me what happened to you.
And on the platform, the middle-aged woman continues to play. She keeps an eye out, but no young man.
During the siege, after you got home, or ever. It's been a long time. But our relationship was never polite or casual.
A passing train drowns out the playing of the middle-aged woman. Once it departs, it is revealed that she has stopped. She just stands still. Then she lowers her instrument.
The old man screams and chases the children, trying to get the sprinkler back. The kids are mocking him, and he tries to spit out words, not heard in his voiceover, nor clear previously via the young man's mics. It is now evident that he has a severe speech impediment.
To answer your question, no. I have not retired, and I don't plan to. There's so much more to get done. I work as hard now as when you left.
Exterior, rail platform, late morning. The middle-aged woman grabs the accumulated change and then places her violin back into its case.
And I was already 41 by then.
Back on the roof, the young man does not record the confrontation on the yard below. Instead, he packs up his gear.
Our child would be 23.
Interior Free Trade Cafe, noonish. A typical crowd, all on phones, tablets, or laptops, except for the old man.
The old man, again dressed and wearing his State Department cap, just sits with an even more ridiculously convoluted contraption for a cup of black coffee and waits for a performance. This time, no musicians are warming up.
And the other customers continue to be consumed by their devices.
The middle-aged woman comes into view, tired, still with the violin case. She sits at another table, a few feet away from the old man, with a number for an order.
The old man and the middle-aged woman stare straight ahead and wait.
This time, the young man's on stage. He begins to perform by pressing play on his laptop.
Hipster number 2 brings the middle-aged woman her order, a giant glass of oddly colored iced tea and a container of honey.
The middle-aged woman begins to squeeze honey into her tea.
And the old man stares straight ahead and watches the young man and his computer.
While the woman also stares at the young man and his computer, still squeezing honey into her tea.
The old man looks around, glances around the room, but not directly at the middle-aged woman.
The woman stops squeezing. She just stares at the young man, container in hand.
The old man looks back to the performance.
The woman finishes off her tea with one more dab, puts down the container and stirs. She again stares at the performance as she continues to stir.
The old man continues to watch the performance.
The woman stops stirring, looks around, glances around the room, but not directly at the old man.
The performance continues, and the old man and the middle-aged woman stare.
And then they both take a sip, eyes still on the stage.
The old man looks down at his phone. He stares at it for a few seconds, then back up at the stage.
They continue to stare at the young man.